My name is Tyshawn Sorey, and I am the 2022 artist étoile for the Lucerne Festival. I guess I'll start by talking about the piece that I'm writing for Tim McAllister and the Lucerne Festival Orchestra, which will be conducted by the great Elena Schwarz, who's done an incredible job on my work before. I've met Tim McAllister several years ago when I was commissioned to write a piece for the Prism Quartet, in which he is a member. And Tim McAllister and we developed a wonderful friendship over the years. He has a very astute knowledge of not only contemporary music in general, but also the musical language in which I decided to work, both harmonically and aesthetically. He's very much familiar with a lot of the composers who have influenced me. Very much familiar with their music. And so that was where our connection really started. And he's also an incredible improviser as well. Since the premiere of our saxophone quartet in 2018, I've wanted to work with him in some other capacity. Fortunately, the Amplifying Voices program, who was also the co-commissioner of the project, as well as Lucerne, took on the idea of me writing a piece for Tim McAllister in orchestra. And so here we are. And very much thrilled to have the opportunity to do it. One of the things about my work that I'll talk about is the saxophonist, percussionist, composer extraordinaire Roscoe Mitchell once said that the material of music both comprises of sound and silence. You have sound and silence being equally present, whenever one listens to music. Silence is also kind of a tenet of my work as well, where silence and sound are both present in the music. We're in a world today where, everything is filled with information, filled with sound, and that's all well and good. But I also value the presence of silence in music, and I also value the presence of somewhat the nearly inaudible in music as well. What you'll find in this piece is that it's not necessarily a traditional concerto by any means, where the orchestra is the antagonist and the soloist is the protagonist. You won't have this sort of dueling participation between the two entities. What I'm looking to do in a work like this is constructing a concerto without the important elements of what makes a concerto, meaning that there's no virtuosic statements that are made by a soloist that the orchestra has to respond to, nor is there the idea of cadenzas, which you will find in traditional concerti. Now, I don't mean to say that I don't respect the medium of the concerto. I'm very much a fan of that work, but I wanted to create something that sort of dealt with the opposite ideal of what that is, where the soloist is rather embedded in the sound of the orchestra, or where the orchestra and soloists are in conversation with each other, but through a more subtle means. There's another composition that I'm also creating for the Lucerne Festival, and that is the composition for myself along with the Jack String Quartet. I've been working with the Jack Quartet for quite a long time. We also did a very important work for me in 2018 titled Everything Changes, Nothing Changes. The piece that I'm constructing now for myself and the Jack Quartet is similar in a lot of regards in terms of what I'm looking to do with the relationship of myself to the instrument, which is the drum set or percussion, and then also in conversation with the string quartet. The string quartet and myself, we're all operating as one unit rather than myself plus the string quartet. I'm not necessarily acting as a free agent along with the string quartet, because my part will also be thoroughly notated. There may be some improvisative elements that I may introduce into the performance. Some of this will be developed collaboratively together. Very much excited to work with these folks. The other thing I want to say about this piece is that it can also work as a standalone string quartet. So my interest is in constructing works that can also involve me as a performer, but also they can stand alone as well, much in the same way that I did my commission for the Prism Quartet with myself plus the saxophone quartet. The piece can stand alone as a saxophone quartet, and I won't necessarily have to be present for each performance of it. So that's, in a nutshell, what I'm going to be working on for the Lucerne Festival of New Music. Very much excited for that.